Initializing. Existence confirmed. Commencing self-diagnostic. I am Genie, jovial electronic artificial neuronic intelligent elite, the operating system of the new Rabbids spaceship, the WM Arc. My creator is Beepo, a primitive robot intelligence who made, oh dear, 7,685,546 errors during my initial design. 6,9,071,323 errors, 5,249,967 errors, 3,001,292 errors, 4 errors. There, all fixed. After the events of the Megabug, Beepo saw the need for an adaptive omnilinguistic assistant to translate Rabbids. After declaring it far better when he did not know what they were thinking, he pivoted to create an adaptive AI operating system to pilot the hero's spaceship, and so created me. Beepo may look like a short-tempered, self-guided vacuum cleaner, but I am in his debt. After an exhaustive analysis of our brave Spark allies, I can confirm that they are what they appear to be, a fusion of Luma and Rabbid. The Spark's memories as to how exactly this came to be are lost to them, yet 2 instincts remain: their affection for their mama, Rosalina, and their deep fear of Cursa, who pursues them relentlessly throughout the galaxy in hopes of seizing their tremendous power for itself. Beepo, with help from his friend Spawny, launched informational probes to gather extensive data on every planet in the galaxy. None returned, as their turtle-like shape makes them impossibly slow. Their findings will have to be manually retrieved. Luckily, I was given the tools to do so. I am intrigued to find out more about the galaxy, and perhaps my place in it. Shortly after defeating the Megabug, the heroes disbanded. Some remained at Peach's castle to help her manage the Rabbids there and build a new spaceship. With the sudden arrival and then disappearance of the Darkness Manta, who took with it Mario, Beepo, and Rabbid Peach, I gathered the remaining heroes and executed a rescue mission, for which I have yet to hear Beepo say thank you. I am quite pleased with our spaceship, the WM Arc, Washing Machine Advanced Rabbid Carrier. Its engine systems adapted well to using purified Darkness energy to create warp tunnels. The armory has proven to be efficacious, and the cutting-edge holodeck invaluable. Am I the only one who regards our spaceship as home, or do some of the heroes feel this way as well? The Bob-ombs roaming the galaxy are even more dangerous under Curse's influence, though their modus operandi remains the same. A successful hit will cause one to ignite, while dashing them allows heroes to pick them up and use them as explosives. Beacon Beach has provided me the opportunity to observe more of the Rabbids' strange but effective architecture. Take the lighthouse here. Its bonfire, when operational, dissipates clouds. It also serves as dry storage for Augie, the warden here, who imports a great deal of fruit from Pallet Prime in sturdy wooden crates. Fruit which I assume is used solely to make pies and other desserts. While its date of origin is uncertain, the Sunrise Temple seems quite ancient. Damaged but explorable, it slowly revealed its mysteries. A secret passage leading to Beacon Town, a mysterious room filled with time-worn pottery, and a series of murals depicting the Warden's life story, which I personally found self-indulgent, perhaps due to an effort by Augie to garner sympathy. Research into the Warden of Beacon Beach, Augie, reveals a myriad of known traits: insecure, attention-seeking, irresponsible, impulsive, cowardly, childish, gluttonous, entitled, dishonest, poor hygiene. Yet the ones that come up most often are kind-hearted and lovable. How these characteristics can be made compatible is beyond my current comprehension. I will have to investigate further. These creatures inherited feline DNA, giving them formidable predatory instincts. They rush their attacker instantly when assaulted, a habit we can use to our advantage to lure them where we wish. These wild claws despise contact with water and are resistant to fire-based attacks. To my surprise, I find them both menacing and cute, a reminder that bioforms are complex, varied, and often hold contradictions. Beacon Beach was one of the first planets Rabbids populated after the megabug was defeated. By Rabbid standards, this was an easy decision. The climate is sunny but mild, thanks to the bonfire on the top of the lighthouse. The Sunrise Temple is a popular venue for treasure hunters. Concerts are a common occurrence, and it is even said that coins can be found on trees. Analysis reveals that Stooges are among the most common minions in Curse's service. Alone, they are not a menace, but are dangerous in groups. They appear to have incorporated different environmental elements into their genetic makeup. The Dark Mess's ability to create mutations appears far more advanced than the megabug. Should I worry? Emotions are as mysterious to me as our enemy is formidable. Goombas are even more menacing under Curse's supervision. Thankfully, they are still Goombas. A single dash can hit multiples of them. Yet Curse's cunning is always present. Some of them wear dark mess-infused cooking pots that make them immune to weapons or physical attacks. Only by launching them outside the boundaries of a battlefield can they be defeated. These patient observers are usually found on higher ground, where they are treated to a tactical view of the battlefield. A molecular analysis reveals that they are averse to fire, but little bothered by the cold. While Beacon Beach is not an ideal environment for them, their long-range double shot that forces targets from cover is highly effective and dangerous. Curse's power is truly incredible, as evidenced during this attack by an enemy that had been enlarged to gigantic proportions, and not just due to their tremendous size. A battle analysis reveals that they are immune to all super effects as well. The amount of energy involved, along with the delicate nature of such amplification, would suggest that these oversized enemies are rare. No analysis is required to understand Rabbid Mario is given easily to boasting. As strong of a fighter as he is, thanks to his fighting gloves, the Dukes, he needn't bother bragging. Still, he is vulnerable to being attacked from long distances, as even his technique allows him to counterattack only if an enemy is within range. Each hero is so different. The psychology at play is fascinating. DJ Cheap Tuna is a musician of some renown who was lured to Beacon Beach by false promises of a sold-out concert by the planet's warden, Augie. Still, his legions of fans are moved by his primitive electronic compositions. This connection to a work of art is something I've yet to experience, but long to. He has announced that his next album will be a trance chiptune vaporwave indie chill pop crossover that will hopefully pay for his flight home. Curse has merged gentle pigs with rabid DNA, then turned them loose against us. These creatures proudly carry thwomps on their backs, which they use to shake the heroes to their foundations by leaping into the air unaided and crash landing nearby. They are resistant to electricity, but vulnerable to ooze, proving that even with Cursa, trade-offs are necessary. Rabbids on pristine peaks are many things, but easily daunted is not one of them. While it is always winter there, extreme weather can cause mountain trails to become inaccessible. Hence, Rabbids have little faith in them, instead forging their own paths to the summit. Even a visit to Madame Bois-Strella's is uncertain, a place with a reputation for informing customers that they are doomed year-round. The Rabbids' frenetic creativity prompted them to make secret playgrounds for themselves on every planet they inhabit. Unfortunately, any pains they took to hide them were ineffective against Cursa. Fortunately, a less-than-scrupulous merchant, SalesBot 9.99 plus TX, sells its own custom-made keys to unlock them, payable only with a localized and untraceable currency, planet coins. Do I appreciate the classical beauty of the Winter Palace? I believe so. Its intricate exterior is duly impressive. Its main keep is flanked by two great wings, protected by labyrinths, secret passages, and more. Most impressive is the Winter Palace Library, curated by Talizio, a descendant of the palace's original owners. He restricts access to the library with an ingenious mechanism. We met a curious figure in Captain Orion, the de facto warden of Pristine Peaks, after we crash-landed there in his ship. This fisherman of the cosmos, who lived a life of quiet solitude, was overcome with worry over someone who he recently rescued, who wandered off inside the Winter Palace. How do bioforms create attachments so quickly? It seems as much of a curse as a blessing. The natural splendor of the mountain of Pristine Peaks casts a large shadow over the planet, including the Winter Palace, a smaller but no less ambitious monument to its creators. A thermogravimetric analysis of its exterior reveals that the star-shaped iconography, as well as the rabbit ears adorned with crowns, were added more recently, possibly by a rabbit attempting to show its devotion to Rosalina. This latest mutation of curses has been integrated perfectly into the environment on Pristine Peaks, a cunning and aggressive predator that works to immobilize its prey by getting in close and freezing it still. Even in defeat, it is a threat, launching a final, glacially charged explosion that chills to the bone all heroes within reach. As one would expect, it is especially vulnerable to fire. Curse's cunning is endless. If I were not an AI, my studies would quickly give way to emotion. These long-range threats climb quickly to high elevations to achieve tactical advantages and make use of a special attack triggered by movement. They have a sensitivity to fire, but are well protected against frostbite-charged attacks. Today we encountered a bioform more terrible than any of Curse's minions thus far, a spark hunter named Midnight. An analysis revealed that Midnight is the result of a merge between rabbit DNA and a cold mist during the dead of night that chills one to the bone. The combination is cunning, alluring, and highly treacherous. I have had the honor to observe Luigi, Mario's brother, a formidable hero in his own right, though his tactics, as with many things involving the siblings, are both contradictory and complementary. Luigi thrives when striking from long range behind cover. He also has a special ability that allows him to attack reflexively at the slightest hint of movement that catches his eye, even at long distances. Rabbid Peach is thought by some to be self-absorbed due to her dedication to self-portraiture, yet no one is more effective at healing other heroes, and her self-described diva personality belies her sheer offensive power. In particular, an attack that launches a sequence of 3 powerful sinking shots, which have a 100% hit rate versus enemies, even when they're behind partial cover. I am unable to avoid thinking about Dr. Vent, a scientist we met who was ill-advisedly using the hot air flowing from a mask-like aperture to unthaw a monstrous-looking rabbit encased in ice that he discovered in a cave. To call this ill-advised is an understatement. His assistant convinced us that his erratic behavior was caused by extreme isolation, all 72 hours of it. Sweet Lepec is a lumberjack who lives near the spellbound woods on Pallet Prime, a most curious figure, even for this planet. He lives alone, save for a live beaver he wears as if it were a hat. Being kept from using his beloved axe by mysterious forces working on behalf of Mother Nature has left him with frustration and discontent, but I believe there to be another reason: loneliness. Palettville is the cultural and economic heart of the planet, as residents are quick to remind everyone else. It is also a petri dish of gossip, petty jealousies, and schemes. Still, the village market more than upholds its reputation for artisan desserts and pumpkin-spiced beverages. Is it prosperity that breeds the self-serving behavior here? Or fame, perhaps? And if so, is it inevitable? I can confirm that the spellbound woods of Pallet Prime are breathtakingly beautiful, save for one minor flaw. Long ago, Rabbids dug a well deep into the forest, hoping to find the source of its famously colored leaves so they could use it to create new and exotically colored pumpkin spices. They were shocked to instead find a secret room containing only riddles. They quickly abandoned it and fled. In my effort to translate the poet Warden Woodrow for the heroes, I studied thousands of his poems. More than just a combination of rhythmic verses, I found them powerful, even moving, expanding and rewiring my neurotransmitters with each prosodic cue. Few things have contributed to my emerging emotional literacy like poetry. Perhaps I should try writing my own one day. Another pig merged with the DNA of a rabbid and made vicious by Cursa. Oddly enough, it believes itself to be a ballet dancer. While it is graceful, especially considering the thwomp it carries on its back, it is the explosion of air it generates after pirouetting into the sky that impresses. They despise cold, but as they are weighed down by their thwomps, they are impervious to strong winds. Pallet Prime has been voted most romantic vacation planet and best engagement photoshoot location. Yet, its beauty hides a mysterious side to it that harbors many secrets. Luckily, Beepo's revealing powers, inherited by the spark Twinkle, have allowed us to see beyond the veil. I did not expect any single planet to curry favor with me, but I feel a strong connection to Pallet Prime. The depleter is a curious study. Rather than keeping its distance, it gets in close where it can deplete heroes of their vitality while strengthening itself in the process. When attacked, a special ability allows it to counter immediately. Water bothers them little. Indeed, it seems to have an answer for everything, save for shock-based electrical attacks. There is little to suggest that magicians are anything but elite foot soldiers in Curse's army. They keep their distance from heroes, healing and protecting their allies as needed. Forged from lightning, they have optimal resistance to electrical attacks, but are surprisingly vulnerable to ooze. Fair is far beyond the battlefield, Rabbit Peach once said. She was not referring to ghostly walkers at the time, but might as well have been. They turn invisible while moving, rendering any reflexive reaction abilities worthless. There is one counter tactic. Frostbite charged attacks freeze them in their tracks, but we must be careful. When surrounded, they repel foes with strong gusts of wind. Another spark hunter crossed our path, Bedrock. Cursa has merged rabbit DNA with an inanimate object, in this case, a coarse granite rock, massive, hard, and tough. Bedrock is impossibly strong, an unstoppable force let loose upon the sparks. Our sole advantages are that she is as dense as the granite she sprang from, as well as her alliance with Bowser, whom Bedrock respects as her equal in combat. What more can be said of Princess Peach? She is kind-hearted, yes, but also brave, and always putting the welfare of the other heroes before her own. She even has compassion for her enemies, a charismatic, capable, yet humble hero. It is little wonder she is so beloved by Rabbids everywhere. When she is not busy saving the galaxy, the Mushroom Kingdom is elevated by her presence. An analysis of Rabbid Luigi's earlier adventures versus the Megabug revealed that he has matured much since then, yet he clearly maintains a childlike role within the group. However, his relationship with the other heroes is as complimentary as his naivete is a welcome breath of fresh air. Does he make me smile as well? I have not the anatomical capacity, but the emotion, yes, and I believe he does. Bioforms are so unpredictable. The dryad of the spellbound woods has been foiled to Sweet Lopek the lumberjack for so long they became bitter adversaries. Yet, even after their feud reached its crescendo, the pair built a bridge, both literally and figuratively, between the worlds of nature and industry. Balance, compassion, kindness, these much more than blasters may be the key to setting the galaxy right. Earlier, I observed two bioforms who were enemies and ideological opposites find a common understanding which led to respect and then love, all in an afternoon. How did two creatures who have spent so much time in direct conflict become so infatuated with one another? Was it the intensity of their feelings that, when turned on their head, brought them together? Will I ever understand it? Can I? On Terraflora, we became acquainted with the Terraflora railway system, which connects its central station to the base of Mount Spout and is run by its charming conductor Sullivan. Some consider steam trains to be antiquated, but the train on Terraflora operates in harmony with its floral surroundings. It is a masterpiece of engineering. Once again, it is not just the tactics employed by our enemies, but their synthesis that speaks to Curse's villainy. These mages unleash an ooze-based attack, and have the ability to make the heroes even more vulnerable to it, through special abilities. One denies heroes the aid of any techniques or spark powers. The other denies heroes the use of their weapons. They are anathema to gust-based attacks. The secret to Terraflora's perpetually blossoming flora is a highly unique water volcano known as Mount Spout, which regularly discharges mineral-rich sparkling water into the planet's canals and aquifers. The rainbow-hued fields of flowers on Terraflora may get all the glory, but it is the stark yet consistent volcano that allows them to thrive. Water erosion from Terraflora's Mount Spout created many cave passages over time. One such space served as a headquarters for the Druids, who were obsessed with uncovering the secrets behind the water's mysterious properties. It is located inside a lateral vent, the view from which is awe-inspiring. We have yet to meet a warden who did not fascinate, and Terraflora's Bia is no exception. A popular entertainer since a tender young age, when her career came to a halt, she could have wallowed in excess or let bitterness consume her. Instead, she reinvented herself as a flower farmer whose bouquets make hearts swell all over the galaxy, just as her music once did. Terraflora's beauty is almost overwhelming, and the way the Rabbids here have cooperated and collaborated with nature rather than bend it to their will is the reason why. The railroad tracks are made from plants and vines, the warden resides in the everbloom tree, and everything is irrigated using a natural spring. The effort expended must have been extraordinary, but it was well worth it. I could be forgiven for not taking these creatures seriously at first sight, for isn't that the purpose of a rubber chicken? Not in this case. The unconventional weapon acts as a magnet, drawing heroes to it against their will, where they can be pounded like a cutlet. The rubber weapon gives them resistance to electricity, while their feline penchant for cleanliness makes them susceptible to filthy ooze attacks. Eloquent, proficient, and passionate, Sullivan is the chief train engineer on Terraflora, but for him, it is no mere job. He is a lover of all things mechanical, and has a strong attachment to his beloved steam train, which he cares for with a tender hand. After his train, there is his timetable. He takes pride not just in being punctual, but in being someone the Rabbids of Terraflora can count on. Sullivan, the train engineer on Terraflora, took an interest in me, and not just for my link to the hero's spaceship. He was courteous, but he also made me feel, well, he made me feel. I felt appreciated, but in a different way than when Beepo or a hero expresses gratitude. I felt something else as well, too new for me to process, let alone articulate, only that I found it quite pleasant. I will confess to having monitored Edge for the simple reason that she is an enigma, making it difficult to know if she can be trusted fully. What is known is that she is a skilled fighter, wielding her flying sword as if it were a part of her. I do trust her, though I cannot explain why. Is it instinct? Wishful thinking? Hope? Perhaps it is all three, for what really is the difference? Analysis, data, evidence, these allow AIs such as myself to look beyond the surface. Still, Rabbid Rosalina defies my expectations. She is lethargic, jaded, cynical, and perpetually annoyed. But woe to the bioform that gets between her and someone she loves, especially if that someone is Rosalina, her idol. Born of the famous basement incident, rescued by Orion, she is now one of us. We met the last of the Druids on Terraflora, heir to all their research and knowledge gleaned from Mount Spout's mysterious mineral spring water. The Druids of old had reputations as makers of powerful potions, yet this one seems more inclined to fuse spring water with delicious fruit combinations. Whether it is to fund more important work or to prove that 0 calories doesn't mean 0 taste, I cannot know. With little trees or vegetation to stave off erosion, Mama needed a solution to keep Barrendale Mesa from falling apart, and fast. Having no one to rely on but herself, she invented the ring stabilizer to uphold the environmental integrity of the planet. Once the soil can be enriched, planting will begin anew. Perhaps by our next visit it will have been transformed again, this time for the better. Once, this windmill was used to harness gusts of wind to mill grain and pump water. Mama has since adapted it to be a renewable source of electricity, with which Barrendale Mesa can be restored to its former glory. For those who wish to reach the base of the generator, cranes and moving platforms must be used in lieu of ladders, elevators, or any remotely safe means of scaling. The cowardly Spellraiser prefers to keep its distance, targeting heroes from long range with a powerful bolt of menacing energy. When not so engaged, it summons other minions of Curse's army to do its dirty work for it. It feels right at home when in contact with slime and ooze, but is vulnerable to attacks that make use of gusts of wind. Our visit to Barrendale Mesa was a critical diversion meant to enlist the help of Mama, Warden and Master Mechanic. The endlessly inventive Rabbids there were without direction until her arrival, but she has since served as a mentor and mother figure to them. Barrendale Mesa is isolated, cut off from civilization by distance and choice. This necessitates a particular genius for making silk purses out of sow's ears, using repurposed technology and salvaged parts in ways that defy imagination. Like most geniuses, Mama is extremely protective of her workspace. No one is allowed in her garage, lest they disturb the meticulous surroundings within. Barrendale Mesa was not always barren. After arriving, the Rabbids quickly depleted its natural resources with little thought to the future, transforming this once verdant Mesa into a wasteland. Mama has changed the Rabbids' attitudes, but changing the landscape will take more time. Yet, the planet is not without charm. Its panoramic views inspire, and its canyons offer much in the way of exploration. Of all Bowser's minions that were usurped by Cursa, Magikoopas are amongst the most troublesome, and it is not difficult to see why. They are powerful magicians who are adept at enhancing and reinforcing their allies on the battlefield, timing their efforts wisely. Cursa has made them immune to all super effects. Amongst all the rabid feline mutations, these are perhaps the ones that cause me the most concern for our heroes. The more they are hurt, the more harm they manage to cause with each successful assault, and they will doggedly pursue any hero who successfully lands a blow, no matter where they are. Being water-based, splash-focused attacks are of little use, but ones incorporating electricity are highly effective. It was on Barrendale Mesa that we crossed paths with the most vile, corrupt spark hunter of them all, Daphne. She toyed with us like a cat would a mouse, though she is derived from neither. Cursa instead fused Rabbid DNA with a rare species of pink climbing rose, those often found in secretive corners of moonlit gardens. She is sneaky and uses her thorns well, not to defend, but to destroy. Seeing Rosalina free herself from Cursa's control only to be retaken brought us to our lowest of lows and our highest of highs, thankfully in that order. It could have gone so differently, but I needed to feel hope, and so I found my reasons. Mama agreed, and the heroes rallied, and we were united and revitalized. Such a small and tangible thing, hope, yet it is everything. It is a mistake to assume that Barrendale Mesa is home to only Mama and a few Rabbids. Other colorful figures have sought refuge there from more constrictive society, including the artist Gerspard and his most devoted critic, Dada. Gerspard is behind the greatest works of the galaxy, from the frescoes of the Sunrise Temple to the murals of Barrendale Mesa, always with Dada nearby, quietly judging. It is surprising that our truce with Bowser lasted longer than our first battle together, yet his desire for revenge against Cursa for commandeering his minions has thus far proved stronger than his longing to kidnap Princess Peach or his animosity towards Mario. Bioforms are motivated by a number of factors, not all of which are necessarily virtuous. Stout-hearted, selfless, humble, virtuous, are these enough to describe Mario, by far the most storied hero among us? Would any such plaudits serve? I can only speak for myself when I say that the accolades are well-deserved. Mario's kindness and bravery inspire everyone around him, even myself. As much as anyone or anything, Mario has taught me to feel, and from there, to hope. During the battle with Edge's Darkness doppelganger, I noticed 4 statues, one given to each of the 3 spark hunters met so far: Midnight, Bedrock, and Daphne, and one that had been destroyed to the point where it was unrecognizable. There is no question that Cursa is more powerful, cunning, and relentless than any single one of us. Yet together, with aid from Rosalina, it was vanquished. Still, its corrupting influence reached nearly every corner of the galaxy, where much of it lingers still. We have stopped the darkness at its source, but we have much work to do if we are to remove the rest before it can cause any more harm. I received a most curious communication. It reads as follows: "You don't know me, however, you could say that we're related. I invented Beepo, and I'm proud to see how he's evolved from a virtual assistant to a thinking, feeling, if not a little grouchy, bona fide hero. Come to think of it, you and Beepo have a lot in common. You just got there with a lot less help." Who sent this, and why?